What up, everybody? Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Live Me. Howdy, howdy. My cat's whining. And she's back in. What's up, Tulip Wind? What's up, Foxhound? Good morning. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. I'm here and present. I'm just dealing with a fidgety cat that doesn't know if she wants in or out. You know how that goes. What's up, Pandora? Good to see you. Sasquatch, how are you? Good morning, YouTube. Good morning. Get Your News On with Ron, everybody. Henry, you are the #1 fan of the day. Thank you for the honey pot and the diamonds. Thank you very much. Good to see you. You guys know how this goes. Once we hit 30, the show will officially begin. And that's 30 over on the Live Me. Howdy, howdy, Joe. Joe says hi over on the Live Me. How was the hockey game? The hockey game was very good. Unfortunately, the Penguins did not pull it off, but it was a good game. In the second period, they kind of fell apart. The Penguins did. They had 4 unanswered goals. One of them was a shorthanded goal, which, hats off to Anaheim. That guy made a hell of a play to get the breakaway, and then hell of a move to get the shorthanded goal. I forget which player it was, but it's just an excellent play. And, that really put the momentum in Anaheim's court. I was getting a little worried. I was thinking this might end up being a blowout, but the Pens rallied and had a big comeback in the third period. It was not enough to overcome, unfortunately. So I was bummed out that we lost, but I was happy that it was at least a good game. I mean, I would have been bummed out if it was a blowout. And Anaheim, they had a good showing. Pens still got some holes to fix, but the season's still young, I mean, it's pretty much in hockey, it's pretty much as long as you get to the playoffs. That's all that matters. And then the playoffs is a whole new ball game. Which is a weird choice of words considering it's hockey, but it was a fun game. Thank you for asking me. Henry, you figured out the app. I'm talking to Henry over at the Live Me. Cool that you figured out the app. Good to see you. Let's see what you guys have been posting. And guys, I might be, and this is a maybe, but there is a slim chance that I might be switching formats here as far as the other stream goes. I mean, obviously we're not going anywhere on the YouTube, but we might be going over to a different app soon. We'll see what happens. I'm always looking for the best way to stream this. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here. You guys are already sending some articles, which is awesome. And man, you guys are already sending articles. Hey, Thomas. No, it would not be Twitch. Well, we'll see. I mean, right now, I'm just giving you guys a heads up. Bella Ryan, thank you for the share. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. You find a new one as soon as I figure this out. I'm sorry, Henry. Let's not get excited. I don't know yet, but any news I will post on Twitter. I will tweet it out as soon as I know more, so that you guys know more as well. But I might be switching over from Live Me. We'll see. We got a good thing going. We got a nice little system going over on the Live Me and over on the YouTube. YouTube's definitely not going anywhere. But hey, Kimmy, how's it going? Kimmy says, hey, over on the Live Me. I might be switching over from Live Me to a different platform. I will let you guys know as soon as I know more information on that. And, of course, nothing is changing over on the YouTube. So don't worry about that. YouTube-wise, nothing's changing at all. And, of course, Twitter-wise, nothing's changing at all. Reddit-wise, nothing's changing at all. But we'll see. Thank you very much for the magic wand, Henry. I appreciate that very much. Are you coming out with a new live video app? Not me. Not me, but somebody else is. I am interested in new live broadcast apps. I am too. So we'll see what happens. And guys, over on the Live Me, we just hit 30 people. You know what that means. The show has officially begun. Tweet me an article at Placone. We'll go through it together. We'll make it all alone. Get your news on with Ron. Wanna know what's going on? Get our news on with Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Good morning, Live Me. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Twitter. Good morning, Reddit. That's where you all are reaching me. This is the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles, and that's how we get through the show. You either tweet me an article at Ron Placone. That's how you follow me over on Twitter. Or you can post an article in the Reddit. Our Reddit subsection is just reddit.com/r/GetYourNewsOnWithRon. And that's where we're at. It's exciting stuff. All right, you guys have already sent articles. Before we jump in, I need to get some liquid going because I need some water. And I forgot to have some with me. So I'll be right back. And then we will officially kick in. Good morning, Tovarish. I will be right back. Come on, Luce. Come on in. Atta girl. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. Thomas, thank you so much for the star points. Sorry, YouTube. Sorry, Live Me. I am sorry about that. Let me see if I missed anything in the Live Me chat here. Probably like, where the fuck is Ron? Thank you for the star points, Thomas. I appreciate that very much. And let's see. Bella Ryan, thank you for the magic wand. Joe says Ron's starting a new app called Live Ron. That'd be cool if I had my straight up own streaming app. But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. All right, let me fix the phone here. Make sure everything's good over on the YouTube. I apologize, you guys, for having to leave. This H2O is sponsored by Lucy the cat. Somebody says, yes, Lucy is in the room. I am in the room. I forgot my water. I apologize for that. All right, let's get straight to it. All right. So this is the first article from Henry. Henry, thank you so much, and welcome to the Live Me chat. I know you just you said you just figured out the app. Henry comes to us from Germany. This is a sad one. We're starting out with a pretty depressing story. Yemen war, 5,000 children dead or hurt, and 400,000 malnourished. 400,000 children. 5,000 dead. 400,000 children. Wow. That's wow. So let's see here. UNICEF says 5 children a day have been killed or injured since March 2015, with nearly every child in Yemen in need of humanitarian aid. The war in Yemen has killed or injured more than 5,000 children and left another 400,000 children severely malnourished and fighting for their lives, according to the UN Children's Agency. In a report unveiled on Tuesday, UNICEF said nearly 2 million Yemeni children were out of school, a quarter of them since the conflict escalated when a Saudi-led coalition intervened in March 2015. More than 3 million children were born into the war. UNICEF said more than 5,000 children killed or injured in the violence amounted to an average of 5 children every day since March of 2015. Wow. The UN agency said more than 11 million children, or nearly every child in Yemen, were in need of humanitarian assistance. Yemen's internationally recognized government said on Tuesday that it faced economic difficulties and called on its allies, including Saudi Arabia, to help overcome them. More than 2,200 people have died as a result of a cholera epidemic that has hit the country since April. Cool. All right. Wow. That's a staggering statistic. 400,000 malnourished children. 5,000 dead. 400,000. I mean, this is one of those things where if people really knew the firsthand effects of war, we would just we would not be as tolerant of it. You know what I mean? Like we would think twice about it. I mean, if we really knew what the endless war that the United States helps to assist with, if we knew what it really did, the real effects of it, if they did profiles on people in Syria, on people in Palestine, on people in Afghanistan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia even. You know, I mean, if they really did firsthand profiles on this, maybe, just maybe, we would live in a more diplomatic world, a more peaceful world. But, you know, you're not going to hear about this in the corporate media. They're not going to talk about this because it doesn't really fit their agenda of upholding the status quo. And that's a shame. That's a staggering statistic, you guys. 400,000 oppressed children, malnourished children, 5,000 dead. Five a day pretty much just die as a result of this world. This war, excuse me. Well, technically this world, but all right. So moving on, this is from Whiskers. FBI whistleblower on Pierre Omidyar and his campaign to neuter WikiLeaks. FBI whistleblower Sabil Edmonds asserts Pierre Omidyar decided to create The Intercept not only to take ownership of the Snowden leaks, but also to continue his blockade against WikiLeaks and create a honey trap for whistleblowers. All right. Not only to take ownership of the Snowden leaks, but also to continue his blockade against WikiLeaks and to create a honey trap for whistleblowers. So they're saying The Intercept is not. All right, let's check this out. This is from Mint Press News. The Daily Beast ran an exclusive report detailing how the Freedom of the Press Foundation was set to break ties with WikiLeaks amidst concerns among the foundation's board, which includes such well-known figures as Daniel Ellsberg, Edward Snowden, Laura Poitras, John Cusack, and Glenn Greenwald, among others. The news was confirmed less than a month later when the nonprofit's board officially voted to stop accepting U.S. donations for WikiLeaks, which had been blacklisted for years by Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal after publishing leaked U.S. government documents provided by Chelsea Manning. Yeah, I'm not sure about the legitimacy of this. Even though the FPF had been founded to allow WikiLeaks to circumvent the banking blockade, which according to WikiLeaks sapped nearly 95%. Last Monday, the FPF made it official, leaving it to rely on cryptocurrencies. All right, so where is the thing about The Intercept? Now they're going on to talk about Russiangate. Sabil Edmonds, FBI whistleblower and founder of National Security Whistleblower Coalitions, told Minpress News that the FPF has a reputation for being a very, very partisan organization and populated with ideologues. So where is this thing about The Intercept? This is a very long article. All right, so here is a supposed quote from Edmonds. Here, hold up. The Intercept is a continuation of that blockade of WikiLeaks. It was set up with that purpose. Specifically, it was set up to block true, real information and put forth narrative that has already gotten the approval of special interest, including the U.S. government. It made perfect sense to move from that to setting up a news organization and posing as an outlet for investigative reports, depending on whistleblowers. All right, so Glenn Greenwald is on the board over at WikiLeaks. Glenn Greenwald writes for The Intercept. So this article, I guess, is claiming that Glenn Greenwald is a spy. Is that what they're saying? This seems a little fishy to me. I don't know how serious we can take this report. And yes, I do question. I do question the validity of not only this outlet but also its but also this. I mean, in particular, this article. I mean, I'm not. I've seen some stuff out of Mint Press, not a lot, but they're saying The Intercept is. The Intercept is against WikiLeaks, even though writers for The Intercept are on the board at WikiLeaks. I don't know. I would need. I mean, some of the stuff they have in here is stuff that did happen. You know, as far as people that can donate to WikiLeaks, people that have written off WikiLeaks, but I would need to see a little bit more regarding this issue before I would say that there is that there's validity to this. I would need to see a little more. And this article kind of, yeah, no, Joe says something doesn't feel right about this story. I'm with you. Something doesn't feel right about it to me too. And also, it kind of jumps all over the place. Like it goes from Russiagate to WikiLeaks to other organizations that have stifled the WikiLeaks to the claim that the Intercept was set up to stifle WikiLeaks and the Intercept is kind of a facade. I on the surface, I certainly would need a lot more to believe something like that. You know, most of the work I've seen from the Intercept is very good work. I'm more familiar with the Intercept, a lot more familiar with the Intercept than I am with this Mint Press news site. I'm not very familiar with them. So I'm kind of taking this with a grain of salt, big time. But thank you for sharing nonetheless. But yeah, I'm gonna have to refrain from not quite sure. Well, whatever. Thank you for sharing, Whiskers. I appreciate it. But yeah, not sure what to make of that one. I think that I would need to see a little bit more to entertain those types of ideas. All right, so let's move on. This is from The Intercept, interestingly enough. Which, I mean, yeah, I mean, I suppose anything's possible. I'm certainly, but thus far, most of the work I've seen from The Intercept has been good work. There's some really good articles that people write for The Intercept. There's some really good writers on The Intercept. And if it is a honey trap for whistleblowers, I guess they're doing a good job at that. But I don't think that's the case. I certainly do not think that's the case. And here's an article from The Intercept. that I think is going to be a good one. This is from Alex Emmons. Raven tweeted this one out. It wasn't just Republicans. Democrats also voted to shut down debate on Trump administration surveillance powers. A critical mass of Senate Democrats voted with Republicans on Tuesday to shut down any further debate on a bill that strengthens the government's spying powers. We remember that. We talked about that. The bill will renew a key surveillance authority. That's the 702 authority. And it was, as you guys know, just after 7 p.m. on Tuesday, Claire McCaskill cast a decisive vote in favor of the motion. 30 Democrats opposed it, including Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, along with 8 Republicans led by Libertarian Rand Paul and Mike Lee of Utah. Tuesday's vote was a major blow to privacy activists who saw the sunset of NSA authority as a strategic opportunity for Congress to rein in NSA surveillance. The bill passed the House last week with backing from Democratic leadership and reauthorizes 702. All right. So let's see. Is there anything new? Most importantly, privacy activists saw the Senate vote as a monumental defeat, which not only gives vast surveillance powers to Trump, it helps consolidate them for future presidents. Right. A truly remarkable historical moment, tweeted Elizabeth Gautier, co-director of the Brennan Center's Liberty and National Security Program. If Dems had held firm, they could have blocked a bill to give Trump administration give the Trump administration unprecedented powers to spy on Americans, but they didn't. So now this president and future ones will almost certainly be handed that power. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Raven. And yeah, so again, this is reiterating the fact this doesn't just affect this president, this affects future presidents as well. Meaning they will have this type of surveillance. And this is something that we shouldn't have, regardless of who the president is. The fact that it's Trump makes it extra despicable in some ways, but it doesn't matter who the president is. This is not something that should exist. There should not be these loopholes for warrantless surveillance on Americans. And yes, I know it says, oh, well, no, it just applies to non-American citizens. No, there's loopholes in there that they can apply it to a citizen too if they hide under the guise of security. So, and the quote-unquote resistance just gave Trump, authority to do this. As Joe put it, the Mick resistance strikes again. All right, this is from Joe. Trump and Republicans will be blamed for government shutdown, new poll finds. President Donald Trump has spent the past few days using his Twitter account to blame Democrats for a potential impending shutdown, hyperbolically accusing them of favoring amnesty for all over the U.S. military, but his tactic isn't working. According to a new poll out Tuesday, Americans will blame Trump and the Republican Party should Congress and the president fail to fund the government past the Friday night deadline. Excuse me, guys, I need a little bit of water. Let's see. Someone in the YouTube chat just called Jill Stein a neoliberal. That's news to me. I don't believe Jill Stein is what a neoliberal is. But hey, teach their own. This is the way it should be. Typically, if a shutdown happens, the party that is in power and the president get the blame. That's what happened to Obama. You know, when Republicans, put their feet in the sand or kind of were unbudging on everything, which they were, Democrats took the heat for it. That's why Democrats had a horrible showing in the midterms. Well, one of the many reasons Democrats had a horrible showing in the midterms. One of the many reasons that, they didn't get the White House in 2016. People blamed the Democrats. It hurt Obama, too. It would be the same thing here. The person that sits in the White House, the party that's in power, will take the blame for a shutdown. That's why the Democrats in this case, should be stubborn. They should be stubborn about CHIP. They should be stubborn about DACA. And they should say, look, if you're not going to fund these programs that help people, all because you want this wall and you want more money for defense, we're going to stand our ground. We're not going to go along with this. And then they need to report to the people and say, look, we're fighting for stuff like DACA. We're fighting for stuff like CHIP. We're fighting for poor people so that they get health care and they get help. You know, you're fighting for just more ways to give money to your friends, basically, which is essentially what Trump and the Republicans are doing. This is an opportunity for Democrats to really hurt their likability and really help themselves going into the midterm. Will they do it? Probably not. I mean, Chuck Schumer already rolled over and played dead. We talked about a story yesterday where apparently Chuck Schumer is having a hard time with the Democrats because they're not just coming around and giving Republicans what they want. And this is why it's so hard. Because politically, the Democrats are doing everything they can to once again snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. There is no, and you know, I mean, they are basically the Washington Generals of political parties, where they're pretty. I mean, it looks like they're basically paid to lose. They are either the most inept party in American history, or they're paid to lose. And honestly, it's a little bit of both, because the donor train keeps on rolling, whether they win or lose. And making their donors happy involves them losing most of the time. So the Democrats can really put their feet in the sand, can plant their flag and be like, no. Henry says, I think most Democrats' heads would explode if they were in Germany. Why do you say that? In what way? So a new Hart research, getting back to this article, a new Hart research poll commissioned on behalf of the liberal organization MoveOn.org found that even before hearing any specific policy disagreements, 42% of Americans would blame Donald Trump and congressional Republicans for a government shutdown, which is 31% instinctively laying the blame at the feet of Democrats. So there you go. Democrats, use this opportunity to really put your feet in the sand. And they're making it out like this is a bad thing, by the way. They're already making it out like, the other Democrats are giving Chuck Schumer a hard time. Because, you know, the Democrats that are starting to be vocal against this are the Democrats that want a chance at the White House in 2020. Because they know where public opinion's at. Public opinion wants DACA, wants CHIP, wants help for the working class and the poor. You know what they don't want? They don't want this stupid wall. This stupid wall. So, you know, I'd like to see the Democrats be more of an actual quote-unquote resistance. I'd like to see that. I'm not counting on it. I can't. I don't have confidence in them to do the right thing. I don't have confidence in them to have the good strategy they need. I mean, 2018 should be a blue wave. The Democrats should destroy in 2018, but I don't have much confidence they're going to. Because they still don't really have a strong message. They still don't have any type of policy opposition. And look at all they've gone along with the FISA bill. They've gone along with, they couldn't stop the time. I mean, there's so many things where they just rolled over and played dead or just went along. They gave the $80 billion in military spending. They just handed it to Trump. So, you know, I don't have much confidence. Dem Socialist says they clearly don't want to win. Yeah, I'm with you. I can't resist that. Yeah, I can't really. No pushback here. I mean, how can you really even... Polling shows that Dems lead by single digits on generic ballots. Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that if the Democrats are just going to rely on Trump fatigue, which is what they're trying to do, yeah, they're going to see some victories from that, sure, but I don't think it's going to be a lot. I really don't. And here's a poll that indicates that people are going to blame the Republicans, as they should. That makes sense. They're the party in power. They got the White House. They got the Congress. They got the Senate. They should be. The majority power is who should be blamed when something like a shutdown happens. Or maybe should's not even the right way to put it, but like that's who will get the blame. That's just how it works. Joe says Dems' new slogan, "We stand for nothing." I'm with you. You know, one party gives you nothing to vote for, the other party gives you something to vote against, and that's our system. All right, let's move on to a different article here. Cultural Popcorn tweets this. I feel weird liking this because it's a really it's kind of a sad story. Sometimes I like these and retweet them just because people are participating in the stream, but then the article itself, I'm maybe sending a weird message by liking it. So I got to be careful of that. But I do appreciate everyone sending stuff. All right, so this is from the Columbus Dispatch, and it's not loading. All right, a deputy shoots and kills. Whoa, okay, this is my first time hearing about this, and I guess it just happened. A deputy shoots and kills a 16-year-old boy during a scuffle at a courthouse. All right. Chaos unfolded Wednesday afternoon in a hallway outside a Franklin County courtroom when a scuffle involving a teenage defendant, his family members, and a deputy ended in fatal gunfire. Wow. Okay. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office deputy, who was knocked to the ground, fired a single shot, killing 16-year-old Joseph Edward Haynes of the Hilltop. Haynes was in court on 2 delinquency cases, both involving guns, juvenile court records show. During the hearing, Magistrate Larry Sanchez ordered him placed on electronic monitoring. At some point, as the hearing was concluding, there was an altercation involving the deputy and some of the family members. And what we have learned was the deputy was knocked to the ground as part of that altercation where he came under attack. 1 shot was fired. Minard said the Franklin County Sheriff's Office would not immediately identify the deputy, but would do so at a later date. It's unclear how many people were involved in the scuffle, which broke out at 12:40 p.m. Wow, okay. So this happened pretty much in front of the courthouse. Democratic Socialist says Hilltop is commonly known as Killtop. In Columbus, it's a bad part of town. Wow. Here's an account. Geraldine Haynes, who is Haynes' grandmother, told the Dispatch she was only a few feet away when the struggle broke out. They could have tased him. He didn't have to shoot him, she said as a tear rolled down her face. In her account of events, Geraldine Haynes said her grandson became upset when the deputy put his hands on Haynes' mother. Karen Haynes was pushed up against a wall, which prompted Joseph Haynes to shout at the deputy, "Leave his mom alone, leave his mom alone." Why was he touching the guy's mom? Joseph Haynes grabbed the deputy's shoulder. The deputy said the deputy let go of Karen and slung Joey on the ground. At this point, Joseph Haynes didn't move and his hands were above his head. All of a sudden, he pulled his gun and shot him. The family was taken into other rooms immediately after the shooting. They didn't learn until about 4 p.m. that Joseph was dead. So this was a defensive person on the ground with their hands over their heads. If this account is correct, and this is still unfolding, this is my first time seeing anything about this. This happened yesterday. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of different accounts out there as time goes on. But assuming this account is correct, this person was on the ground with their hands over their head. They were shot. This was not a struggle that ended deadly. This was an impromptu execution in a court of law. Unless something reveals that this play of events is not what actually happened, And I'm using that disclaimer because, this is in real time. Somebody tweeted me this article. It's my first time seeing anything about it. That's the purpose of this show. That's how this show works. And this happened yesterday, Wednesday. It is now Thursday morning. But assuming this account of events is what happened, this was literally an impromptu execution of an American citizen in a court of law. That's the country we live in. And yes, they're protecting the identity of this officer that did it. They're not even revealing the identity of the officer that did it. You guys have heard me talk about my thoughts on law enforcement a lot. How it's a systemic problem. How the entire manner in which we conduct law enforcement needs to be gutted and redone. Because we have a systemic problem. People are commenting he'll probably get a paid vacation for it. He'll probably get a promotion. And what's sad is you might be right. Wow. Oh, anytime, here's what the Franklin County Commissioner, John O'Grady, said. Anytime there's a deputy-involved shooting where we've got the public involved, obviously it's a terrible incident. Our hearts go out to the deputy. Our hearts go out to the deputy, the family, and anyone involved. They mentioned the deputy first. The Franklin County Commissioner, their heart goes out to the deputy first. The deputy that used deadly force in a court scuffle. A 16-year-old boy and his mother inside a court of law. Why would deadly force be necessary? Somebody in the chat says Columbus police are out of control. Wow. Our heart goes out to the deputy. The deputy that literally took it upon themselves to execute an American citizen inside a court of law. If you go into a court of law to be tried, you might not walk out alive now, apparently. Holy shit. I mean, wow. What else can you say about that? I mean, Dem Socialist says brutality there is very common. Franklin County Jail is the same way. I mean, this was in a courtroom. This was in a court of law. A courtroom. The only people that have weapons in a courtroom are the police. That's it. I mean, that you realize that's what happened, right? This person executed a citizen in a court of law. I guess all we can do is just see how this unfolds and see what but assuming this account of events from this article is correct, this is a new level. I mean, this is a new level. I mean, this is Wild West type stuff going on here. You walk into a court of law assuming you are going to get due process, and you get shot and killed. Whew, that's heavy, to say the very least. All right, let's move on here. Yeah, there's some brutal stories today, guys. You guys trying to make me depressed? It's time for Terrible Thursday, where we send Ron the most depressing shit we can think of. Speaking of which, this is from Seth. Russia, Iran open their arms as Turkey loses patience with the U.S. All right, let's see what's going on here. Relations between the U.S. and Turkey have hit a new low over Washington-supported militias battling the Islamic State, according to analysts. The government in Ankara, I mispronounced that. In Ankara, views the Kurdish fighters as terrorists. Experts warn that the crisis is resulting in Turkey, a longtime American ally with NATO's second largest standing army, turning away from the West and toward Russia and Iran. U.S. military support for Syrian Democratic Forces, which are led by the Kurdish YPG militia, have left Turkey furious. Turkey sees YPG as an extension of the separatist Kurdistan Workers' Party. The U.S. is directly providing arms to a group whose ultimate ambition is not defeating ISIS. This group's ultimate ambition is creating an independent Kurdistan. Kurds in the region have long harbored hopes of forming their own state. In Iraq, the Kurdistan Regional Government held a referendum on independence in September. Merrill said that mistakes committed by the Turkish state in crushing the movement and trying to force the minority to assimilate have resulted in deep grievances among many Kurds. The United States is providing military and logistics to a group of Kurdish fighters that is closely linked to the PKK. The PKK is a separatist group that has used violence with the aim of achieving an independent Kurdish state. Naturally, Turkey is apprehensive that a group of Syrian Kurdish fighters closely linked to separatist Kurdish militants in Turkey is gaining a significant foothold in northern Syria. And this, by the way, this is from NBC News, by the way. This is not some big this is not some independent source or anything like that. This is from NBC News, which is not an anti-war publication by any means. And even NBC News, now I'm sure this is not front page news, but even NBC News is acknowledging we're not quote unquote fighting ISIS and keeping America safe. We're just funding conflict. We're funding deadly war around the world. That's what we're doing. We're engaging as imperialists. And this is NBC News. And again, over on the Jimmy Dore show, we've made the Mort Saul analogy before, where it's like Mort Saul would sit with a newspaper and he would read stuff that people would be like, holy shit, that's what's happening. And he'd be like, yeah, this is all in the paper. It's just not on page one. You gotta search for this. They don't make it easy on you. Same thing here. NBC News is acknowledging that we are just funding endless war. That's what we're doing. We're just funding one side. Probably at some point we'll give weapons to the other. And that's just how we fund endless war. And this is why we don't have universal health care. Because we're helping people in the Middle East kill each other. We're funding endless war, and we're encouraging it. And we're dropping bombs to create more of it. And it's not about our safety. Nowhere close. Nor is it about spreading democracy. It's about oil. It's about resources. And it's about trying to enforce our own agenda on the world and not really caring what casualties lay in the process. And here you go. And Turkey, yet another country, is losing patience with this endless worldwide militarization. And, it's not just the United States. Other countries are guilty too, but the United States certainly the ringleader. And here NBC News is copying to it. But I guarantee that's not on the front page. Thanks for sharing that, Seth. That's a good one. Let's see. We got some more stuff. So, guys, if you haven't sent an article yet, please do not. Please do not send an article. Because we are we are at the we're at the quota here. We still have some more to get through. Somebody tweeted at me Sean King's tweet where he says, "My God, in juvenile court after a police officer pushed a boy's mother against the wall and the boy intervened, the cop shot and killed him." Yeah. Wow. Sorry. I mean, how do you not get? I mean, are you guys a little bit in your head right now because an actual execution just happened? I mean, holy shit! Like, sorry if I seem a little distracted, but that's freaking why. Like, after having. All right, so let's go to the chat here for a little bit. Am I allowed to suggest a guest to bring onto the Jimmy Dore show? Henry asks. Yeah, of course, Henry. Suggest away. Throw it in the chat. Good segment on Crosstalk, man. Is that going to be a regular thing? We'll see. I'm glad you enjoyed the segment on Crosstalk. We will see what comes of it. At this point, I don't know the answer to that, whether it'll be a regular thing or not. But I certainly would like it if it was. And Peter and I have emailed back and forth a little bit since. If I have any news to share, I will share it right away. We are the enemy. Nobody is listening, and we can't force our opinion. You could choose to not arm the prison guards. I wish. Good luck with that. I wish. After having Columbus police pull guns on me multiple times, I'm not easily shocked by what they do anymore. Wow, man. I guess. I kind of thought we would draw the line at just a totally unwarranted, unregulated, just literal old school Game of Thrones style execution in a courtroom. I mean, I thought we would draw a line there. Wow, holy shit. Not a prison guard in a courtroom. Yeah, that one guy in Crosstalk drove me crazy, though, somebody says. Tom Farish says, huh. Yeah, it was an interesting chat. And if you haven't seen, they're referring to the recent appearance I had on Crosstalk. It was definitely an interesting chat. And Henry's suggestion, Abdul El Said, candidate for the governor of Michigan, endorsed by people for Bernie Sanders, most educated guy ever. Cool. Yeah, send me an email about it. Go to ronplacone.com and send me an email about it, and that's how I keep track of guests to screen. And then a couple of people have also asked me about the article from earlier. I said I feel like I would need more information to draw any type of conclusions in regards to the Mint Press article. That's quite a hefty theory. That's quite a hefty accusation. And I would need a lot more information before drawing any kind of conclusion from that. What's the email address I should use? Just go to my website, ronplacone.com. There's a thing. It says Contact Ron. Just do it that way. That gets to me quickest. Just ronplacone.com. You could email the Jimmy Dore Show. That would get to me as well, but it would be even quicker if you do it through my own website. cool. Thank you for that, Henry. Man. Guys, I think we are all caught up on articles. I think we caught up. Wow, what a depressing freaking what an insanely depressing batch today, huh? I'm still in my head about holy shit. It's been almost 2 weeks since I've been here. How is Lucy? Democratic Socialist asked. Lucy, of course, for anyone not in the know, is my cat. Lucy is doing great. She is hanging out on the bed right now. She was a little bit antsy because she just had her food and I think wanted to run around. And of course, I had to stream, so I didn't have time for her run aroundedness. I think she wanted to play, but I had to do the stream. I didn't have time to play at the moment. Now she's kind of over it, and she's just kind of passed out on the bed, chilling out, doing her thing. But she's been enjoying her wet food diet. She's been writing a lot of dialogues over on the Patreon, and she is really liking her dental chews. How is the wet food? The wet food is going well. The wet food is going well. Did I get the women cat birth? I think I remember you tweeting me something about that, but it was a while ago and it's not fresh on my timeline. Can you retweet it real quick? And maybe we'll just end with that. Yeah, maybe we'll just end with that. Because I feel like that was kind of like a funny, laid-back article, right? Or was it? Maybe it wasn't. But I did see it briefly. And Forever Voting Third Party, if you can retweet that, we'll close with that article because we are almost out of time. And I wouldn't mind ending on something a little bit lighter. It's Winnie the Pooh Day. So we got that going for us. Winnie the Pooh Day is trending on Twitter. And people are using that to post anti-war stuff, which I agree. And so, you know what? Since it's Winnie the Pooh Day, I will use this opportunity to give a recommendation. There's a book called The Tao of Pooh, and I highly recommend it. It's a book about Taoism, but it talks about how just the idea of like peace in reflection, that's a very nuts and bolts Cliff Notes explanation of what it is. But because it's Winnie the Pooh Day, I will recommend that book. I love the Tao of Pooh. It's about kind of peace and tranquility and being at peace with your thoughts. And it's not an easy bridge to make, but they make that bridge through the character Winnie the Pooh. How Pooh was always just in the now. He was always just kind of, so what are we doing today, Piglet? What are we doing today? And he was always just at peace. He always just wanted to help his neighbors. He always just he was kind of like the Buddha, so to speak, was Pooh, whereas all the other ones represented some form of anxiety and stress. You know, Piglet was kind of nervous and timid and scared all the time. Rabbit was really high strung and really always like, ugh, and Eeyore was depressed, right? And there's a lot of cool life lessons we can learn from Winnie the Pooh. I mean, first of all, there's the lesson with Eeyore that, you know what, Eeyore, he had a hard time. He was just kind of sad. He was just kind of, he dealt with that. He kind of wore that on himself. And the guy had a nail sticking out of his ass. Can you blame him? If I had a nail in my ass, I wouldn't be thrilled either at any point. I'd sit down and be like, oh, that sucked. But his friends accepted him anyway. You know, everybody accepted Eeyore, and they didn't try to change who he was. They just tried to be there for him. You know, so that's the lesson. The other thing is a lot of people think that Winnie the Pooh, all the characters, which of course were figments of Christopher Robin's imagination, represented him as a person, because You know, you experience anger, you experience being neurotic, you experience sadness, you experience fear, and you experience sadness, but you also experience happiness. There were characters that were more happy. And then what you aim for, or, you know, you experience Tigger where you're just kind of like all over the place and you're out of control and you're excited, whatever. But what you aim for is kind of just the peace and oneness of Pooh. People say that Pooh, and this is in the Tao of Pooh as well, Winnie the Pooh was what Christopher Robins was trying to go for. Once he really tapped into the Pooh, that was his moment of enlightenment. That's why Christopher Robins was at total peace when it was just him and Winnie the Pooh walking around together. It's a really beautiful show in many ways. The Tao of Pooh is a beautiful book, and, you know, it's something I wouldn't mind revisiting. So happy Winnie the Pooh Day, I guess. It was just sort of trending on Twitter, and I just saw it, and it made me think of all that. So cool. All right, we got one more article, and then we're going to tap out of here. Forever Voting Third Party shares this. A couple sharing birthing photo shoot. The newborn is a 5-month-old kitten, right? A cat-loving couple did a birthing photo shoot where the woman pretended to give birth to a 5-month-old kitten, and her partner posed along with her. The pictures that were clicked by her photographer friend went viral and created a buzz on social media. When it comes to bizarre photo shoots, social networking websites serve as an open platform for people to try out different things and put it out for everyone to see. However, sometimes the unconventional goes far beyond comprehension. A couple on social media startled everyone when they uploaded pictures of their new baby along with the birthing pictures. Facebook user Lucy Schultz, interestingly enough, my cat is named Lucy. A lot of you guys know that. Shared the good news. In her post, she wrote, on 1/10/18, we welcome our first baby kitten, a neutered male DLH. He is 22 inches long and weighed 6 pounds, 7 ounces. He is already eating solid food, name to be announced. We are so in love. Thank you. Oh, they do have photos of her pretending to give birth to the cat. And it's hilarious. They're not, I mean, they're PG. They're not like, you know, she has like shorts on and she's pretending to give birth to the cat. That's funny. You know, that's funny. I think, you know, and I admit it, I'm one of those cat owners that kind of gets almost borderline goofy. I'll share a kind of bittersweet story. When my engagement ended, I was engaged a few years ago, and we ended up breaking up. It did not work out. And, you know, my ex had her cat, and I, of course, had Lucy. And there was a little bit, not a huge dispute, but there was a little bit of discussion about should we not break them up. And she was kind of pushing for her to keep both of them because I was homeless for a while. But it was kind of funny because I was talking to my friend about it, a friend of mine about it, and I was talking about, I don't know what to do, man. I might lose my cat and this and that. And he was trying to make me laugh. So he was saying, yeah, man, I know. I mean, how are you guys going to handle college visits with the cat? You know, who's gonna walk the cat down the aisle for high school graduation? Actually, you don't do that at high school, but he made some high school graduation joke. Like, who's going to frame those high school graduation photos? You guys won't be able to sit on the same bleachers. You know, who's going to go on the college visits with the cat? And I did laugh. So, yeah, he is a good friend. But, so that's funny. That's funny. And, you know, a lot of us crazy pet owners, we realize that it's not the same as children. We do realize that. Most pets, some don't. Some are a little, it's like, okay, you're getting a little bit far out there. Thank you for the diamonds, Forever Voting Third Party, and thank you for the lighthearted article. We needed it to end tonight. So I guess to end on a somewhat slightly more like uplifting note, happy Winnie the Pooh Day. There are some good lessons in that show we can take home. And hey, a couple posted some funny pictures of them pretending to give birth to the cat. That's funny, you know. Ever had a cat that jumps in the shower with you? My cat Luna does that. Lucy will occasionally kind of chill like on the ledge of the shower. She's, you know, she's a little older now and she's pretty bright. I got to hand it to her. She's a smart cat. So she knows how to kind of hang out and keep me company without getting wet because she doesn't like getting wet. But did your cat Luna jump like all the way in the shower? Like she would actually get wet with you? Jesse says, don't know. My pets think they're children. Does Lucy approve of this article? Yes, Lucy approves of the article, and Lucy is mad that I never did that with her. She's like, why didn't you and your college roommates ever pretend to give birth to me? That would have made me feel good. So, Dem Socialist, your cat goes all the way in the shower. Wow, that's pretty... Most cats I know don't like getting wet, so that's a little different. That's pretty cool, though. Forever voting third party, I'm going to tweet you a picture of the wet cat. Go for it. I guess some cats like it, and please do. I love it when people tweet me photos of their pets. It does happen occasionally. One time somebody tweeted me a photo of their dog kind of looking at me on a screen. I think it was from a Jimmy Dore show clip, and that made me feel very good. I love animals. You guys know that about me. So yeah, totally tweet me a photo of your cat. I love it. Guys, we are totally out of time. Thank you so much. Some crazy news today. Some very disturbing news today. And wow. Holy shit. Yeah, a lot of crazy news today. I don't know what to say. But thank you so much for being part of this. And this is the point of that show. We unpack the news together and we experience it for the first time together. So we sometimes we react with sadness, with anger, with confusion, with shock. And I kind of have a feeling all of that happens. I think all of that happened today. Confusion happened today. Timidness happened today. Fear happened today. Anger happened today. Sadness happened today. Shock happened today. All of that happened today. And that's all a possibility on this show. Because I'm seeing all this news for the first time. And for a lot of you, that's the case as well. And we're experiencing it together. And I appreciate you so much for taking this journey with me. Because again, this show could not exist without you guys. So thank you so much for your support. If you want to support this show in the sustainability sense, you can do so over on Patreon, patreon.com/Ron Placone. It looks like they're going to demonetize us on YouTube. There was some YouTube news earlier today, or yesterday rather, and I was talking to some people about it. It looks like I'm going to be demonetized pretty soon on YouTube, completely demonetized. So, not to add to more crappy news, but I got some more crappy news. So now more than ever, I really appreciate your support. Why? They're changing the standards, like the rules for who gets monetized. And even though I have the subscriber count that they require, I have well beyond the subscriber count that they require. A lot of my videos prior to starting this show were short form videos. So my watch hours do not meet the requirement they need. Because I used to do 1 minute videos and 1 minute stand-up clips, and that was all I did. So my watch hours were never high. Had I been doing this show for years, had I been doing this show the whole time where I do an hour-long stream, and then the clips are longer too, I probably would have nothing to worry about. But because I wasn't, I now have something to worry about. They now have watch hour requirements since when? I think this came out yesterday. So pretty much since yesterday. And there are rules as far as watch hours and as far as subscriber counts. Subscriber counts, I'm fine. But watch hours, I don't have. So, and I mean, there's some people that do short form content that are going to be in the same boat as me. And I don't really think that's fair, but so yeah, it looks like we're going to get demonetized. So that's why I might have some announcements in regards to our streaming platform I might have some announcements in regards to YouTube. So yeah, if you are able to support on Patreon, it's very much appreciated. You know, I mean, this show is, I love doing this show. I really do. I love doing it for you guys. And I'm not going to stop. The show's not going anywhere. Don't worry. But your support means a lot, more than ever. So if you are able, patreon.com/Ron Placone. You get all the content that I put out there, all of it, no matter what you give. Whether you give $1 or more, you get everything, because I want somebody to be able to be a patron of mine because they want to be, regardless of their financial ability. So if you're able to, much appreciated. If not, totally understand. Don't worry. I am going to make sure I don't go anywhere. I'm going to figure this out no matter what. So don't worry. Guys, we are out of time. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for making this show possible. I cannot do it without you. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone. That's where you can tweet me articles. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles at Ron Placone, and that's how we build the show. We do this every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And don't worry, we ain't going anywhere. We go through it together. We'll make it our own. Thank you guys so much. This has been Get Your News On with Ron. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone. RonPlacone.com. Find out when I'm coming to a city near you. Patreon.com/Ron Placone if you are so able. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, stay safe in this crazy world of ours. Thank you so much. I love you all very much. Peace.